In the upcoming letter from the producer live, we'll be covering important information on what's to come in patch 6.2. Letter of Producer Live will be Friday, July 1st, 2022 at 4 a.m. PDT or 7 a.m. Eastern. Where to watch, they've got some links embedded in the announcement here. But what this means is it's going to be covering patch 6.2 part 1 with some additional miscellaneous updates. With that being said, there are some other things that we just want to pay attention to that will be happening in 6.2 so far. All right, so as PC Games noted from the live letter number 68, looking at our schedule and how we work, I do want my team to be healthy. So Final Fantasy XIV's patches are going to be spread out more going forward. Now, if you're paying attention to the live letters, as you know, historically this happened in late February, and one of the big things that came out of this massive timeline that they gave everyone was a indication that patches would be going from 3.5 months of development time to 4 months of development time. And the reason for this is because the team had been going so hard for so long, and they're trying to build in things like vacation and even, some things like mental health days for the developers. So this is good news all the way around. More importantly, what does that tell the fans and the players of the game? That tells you that there's been a lot more content put into the patches year over year, and that they finally decided to keep the patches on schedule and still be able to provide as much content. They need a little bit more time. So they've since added an additional 2 weeks, saying that they need additional time for implementation and fine-tuning. And you can expect another week's time added during summer and New Year's holidays as well. So, with that being said, I was originally looking at the patch cycles for the 6.0 to 6.1, and then some indication on when the live letters were actually announced during 6.1, so it would give us an idea of where they would be for 6.2. One of the things that I noted was patch 6.1 was released 12 April 2022, the second Tuesday of the month. That's after a 4 March live letter part 1, approximately 6 weeks prior to the patch, and then a 02 April live letter part 2, approximately 2 weeks prior to the patch. Of course, live letters are on Fridays, and so that's why you have that around 6 weeks discussion point. Patch 6.2 will most likely release 9 to 16 August of 2022. Now, it's not going to release in between there. It's either going to be the 9th or the 16th of August, and the 9th being the second Tuesday in the month, the 16th being the third Tuesday. But knowing that in the summer months they're going to add an additional week, I would go ahead and say that the release is probably going to be on 16 August 2022, the third week. So what can we expect in patch 6.2? During the live letter 68, I believe, they announced that the patch 6.2 road series included trust system updates for 2.x main scenario dungeons, trust system for between 2 and 3 Heavensward main scenario dungeons, new weapon enhancements, which I imagine is the new relic system. It could be something different, but it sounds like it's going to be the relic system. New Criterion dungeon with variable difficulty for 1 to 4 players. So this new dungeon is going to be essentially the hard mode dungeon that people have been asking for. At least that's what, we've come to believe. 1 being planned in 6.2, and then an additional 2 planned for 6.3. And all of this on top of Island Sanctuary, which we believe to be some sort of Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing-like game. They've come out and said it's not exactly that, but that's roughly what we're expecting, so don't get your hopes too high. But obviously don't dash them to bits. It is something that's going to be engaging, slow burning type content for players to enjoy. And if that's not your thing, they do have some other big content coming in 6.2, including Pandemonium Raids Part 2. So whatever the second tier is going to be called, they're going to implement that in the 6.2 patch. They haven't said yet whether it's going to be offset from the 0.2 patch, if it's going to be a 0.21, or if it's going to launch exactly with 0.2. But people like to typically do main scenario first, and they were entertaining the idea, the last I knew, from the launch of Endwalker. So, in addition to that, there's new Faux Hollows updates. This may be the first level 60 trial that gets in Unreal. No confirmation on what that's going to be at this time. As well as a new trial, which we may have some indication on what it is. Possibly one of the 4 fiends. But nothing is confirmed at this point. And then obviously you've got new main scenario quests, possibly gold saucer updates, which they haven't said too much about up to this point, and your typical miscellaneous job changes. There is one thing I think might show up in the patch, and that is a new dungeon with eye level 605 to kind of give the edge for anyone who is progressing on the Dragon Song Reprise and missing some of those DPS checks, or just needs a little bit more of an edge to be competitive, and hopefully get through the content a little bit faster. But that's all I've got for this 6.2 update. Be sure to tune into the live letter on July 1st, 4 a.m. PDT, 7 a.m. Eastern. Thanks for watching.